Hello and welcome to the Horror and Cats Horror Happy Hour because we could all use some company and a drink. I have not the official cutscene kitty, but I have a kitty. Screamer's here. So this is basically just a no pressure kind of hangout. So if you have a drink, drop in the chat if you feel like it what your drink is. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It can be anything. It could be water, or it could be something like I have tonight, which is just simple Coca-Cola. It's in a fancy glass though. We're just gonna hang out, and I'm gonna talk. If you want to chat, I have the chat up. I can see it. I'll respond. But yeah, basically just a real non-serious, let's hang out and talk about horror. So I obviously last month was October, and some new stuff came out, and I watched a lot of stuff for Halloween and in the lead up to Halloween. So first off, I'm gonna go in no particular order about what I watched. VHS Beyond is like, gosh, the fifth, I think, the fifth entry in the VHS series. How many VHS movies are there? Okay, there's VHS, VHS 2, VHS Viral, VHS 85, VHS 94, VHS 99, and then VHS Beyond, which came out last month. And the difference, there's always some kind of combining, like story joining back, like overarching story to the VHS movies. And in this case, there wasn't. Well, there was. It was in the format of a documentary about extraterrestrial and life and encounters and whatnot. So all of the stories actually had to do with alien encounters of various kinds. And I gotta say, the VHS movies have been kind of going just a little bit downhill. Like, I think the first one was clearly the best. The first story in the first one, with the succubus, was mind blowing, and that one turned into a feature movie several years later. But VHS Beyond, there are, well, honestly, they were all pretty good. One of them was a little subpar, I want to say, but for the VHS movies, subpar is basically par. They're all a little goofy, and they all are like varying degrees of not so much quality but production level, because they're all short films that were made by completely different teams and directors combined into one anthology film. Two of the directors in VHS Viral, one is Justin Long, and one is Kate Siegel, who is the wife of Mike Flanagan. Why am I adding extra syllables to everybody's names this afternoon? Mike Flanagan, probably my favorite contemporary director, who did like Oculus and Ouija, Hush. I talk about Hush a lot on this channel. Hush is a great movie. So I think, and it's funny because if I recall, the Justin Long one and the Kate Siegel one were the penultimate and final ones. So like the end of the movie, save the best for last kind of thing. Out of all of them, Kate Siegel's was probably the most disturbing, like Fate Worse Than Death kind of story, which are always the ones that get to me most. And yeah, VHS Beyond, really good. I recommend it. Um, I also watched Out Come the Wolves. I actually just watched this one 3 nights ago, and whenever I think of Out Come the Wolves, I want to say Here Come the Wolves, which makes me think of Here Come the Mummies, which is a band that makes really goofy songs. Um, Favorite Here Come the Mummies songs would be Pants, Attack of the Wiener Man, and Dirty Minds. So 3 songs to look up if you're in the mood for something goofy. Um, Out Come the Wolves stars Missy Peregrym, who I love, dare I say, am in love with. I have been ever since 2006 or 2007 when she was in Stick It as like a extreme sports gymnast. That's a fun movie. Like if you like the Step Up movies, it's very much in the same vein as the Step Up movies. But yeah, Here Come the Wolves. Missy Peregrym, her fiance, and her best friend are all in a cabin over the weekend. And the best friend, Missy Peregrym and the best friend, grew up hunting. And the fiance is like a fancy editor-in-chief for some publication, and he wants to write about hunting. So Missy Peregrym doesn't hunt anymore. And so the best friend comes to take the fiance out and teach him to hunt, basically, and it's bow hunting. And there's a lot of, without going into anything that would spoil it, a bit of this movie, like it's not all about the wolves. A bit of this movie reminds me of that one. What is that movie with Ben Affleck and Anthony Hopkins, where it's like about a bear? Is it The Edge? I think it might be The Edge. Yes, The Edge. So, like, there's a bunch of interpersonal drama on top of being stalked by a pack of killer wolves. I really liked Outcome. I almost said Here Come the Wolves again. I really liked Outcome the Wolves. It was all practical effects, and at the end, you can, in the credits, you see like there were. I mean, it's not really a surprise, but there were wolf trainers and real wolves used. So pretty cool. Some movies, I find that a lot of movies that use real animals, like there's a movie called not The Pack, The Breed, and it's about basically a bunch of genetically altered killer German shepherds on an island hunting down some vacationers. And I just did not think it was scary because the dogs were too cute. And wisely, it wasn't so much like we got to kill all these dogs to get out of this alive. It was more like finding creative solutions to get around the dogs. Movie probably wouldn't have been very highly praised if they were just like, all right, let's axe a bunch of dogs. It was, but yeah, the dogs were too cute. And that's what I find happens when domestic, not so much domestic, but just like any animals that are typically, to me, cute, cuddly, like even wolves, I have respect for wolves, but I'm not scared of wolves, if that makes sense. But this movie did a really good job of actually making the wolves scary. Like there were only a couple of them, and it felt very much like, yeah, you would not win against these wolves if it was just you. But yeah, it's more of a survival movie, a little bit of drama, like human drama in it. The wolves are just kind of a like a tinder to bring the drama to a head. Good movie. I really liked it. Um, Daddy's Head, which is a Shudder original. Uh, it's about a son with a stepmom, younger than the father. Like there's again a lot of interpersonal kind of drama stuff in it, but wow, this is probably the creepiest thing I watched last month. Um, After the dad dies, there the boy starts getting like visits from something roughly with his likeness, and you can tell there's it's this thing. It's like a mimic, and it's slowly learning how to mimic the dad, and the son is believing it more and more, and the stepmom, who again is younger, wasn't expecting to have like a teenager on her own. uh oh, but the thing in Daddy's Head is super creepy. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to watch it, but that one is highly recommended. That it was super creepy. Just the way it moves, it's like insectoid. Ugh. I also watched Azrael, which stars Neo Scream Queen Samara Weaving, who was in The Babysitter and Ready or Not. Um, Usually the horror. Oh, she was also in. Oh, what's the one with Stephen Yuen? Mayhem, was that what it was called? The rage virus in the office building. She was in that. So everything I'd seen Samara Weaving in that I can remember is horror, but also like a really dark sense of humor. Ready or Not, definitely. The Babysitter, definitely. Well, Babysitter was just more of a all-out comedy, honestly. And then the other one I just said, Mayhem. Yeah, very dark, like anti-corporate kind of humor. Azrael was not funny at all. Azrael is it's kind of odd. It was definitely an experiment because one character speaks, but they don't speak English. So there's this weird. Everybody's got these X marks on their necks, and everybody's ability to speak has been taken away, and there are these demon zombie things that are attracted to open wounds but don't appear to be tripped up by anything else. There's just a lot going on in it, and I think I might need to watch it again in order to fully appreciate it. I feel like there was a bigger story that didn't click for me, or I just didn't, I don't know, didn't understand. Like, I didn't understand why everybody's voice boxes had been all sliced up, because sounds didn't appear to be an issue. There's clearly some big time religious stuff going on in the movie. It's just what exactly and why. There are murals in a church that I might need to revisit. I think I might need to watch it again. it wasn't bad, but I I don't know. I feel like you would really have to pay attention to it to fully appreciate it. This is because there's no talking. There's really nothing you can multitask doing, which is something I do a lot with movies. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty bloody, pretty gory. If that's a attractor for you, then you might like it. It's got some. It's definitely got some Evil Dead vibes to it. Except not campy. It's very serious. Hey, Sith Lord Mac in the chat. I've made it home and have arrived. Welcome, Sith Lord Mac. The cat on the lap is Lucifer right now, the big orange. And I am drinking a Coke. Because you don't have to drink alcohol at happy hour. You don't have to drink anything. You could drink air. You could just breathe air. Another, you know what? I'm not sure if this was a Shudder original, but it was. I watched it on Shudder. It doesn't say Shudder original on the poster, which it usually would if it was indeed a Shudder original. Australian, very, very gross, but also darkly funny. It's definitely, how do I put it? Like, it's all practical effects that I can recall, at least. Very, very bloody and gory, but also it's got that pitch black Australian sense of humor to it. Australian humor and New Zealand humor are not as, like, they're in the same vein, I would say. But Australian humor is like less, I don't know. It's hard to put into words, I guess. I should write something about the difference between Australian and New Zealand humor. I love New Zealand horror movies and Australian horror movies. They walk side by side, but they're not taking the same amount of steps. I don't know how else to say it. But the Demon Disorder, it gets a little bit confused toward the end, I want to say. Not so much that it ruins it, but it's I liked it, but the logic in the curse, in the disorder, it's like seemingly a familial curse without spoiling anything. Acting is good, gore is good, and I definitely did one of those really sharp laughs a couple times while watching it, because it's wild. It's really wild. Also on Shudder, again, I don't know if it's Shudder original, but that is where I watched it last month. Wow, I didn't realize just how many of these were Shudder originals. Oddity, also a Shudder original. Oddity is British, I believe, and it's got a very similar feel to Julia's Eyes. Have you seen Julia's Eyes? It's a Spanish. Most people would call Julia's Eyes a thriller. I personally would say it's a horror thriller. I think you can easily say Julia's Eyes is a horror movie. But and it's not just because one of the characters is blind. Like, there are a lot of, there's a twin sister angle. There's one of them is blind and possibly extra sensitive to ghosty things and whatnot. But then it becomes its own. Like, when I started watching it, I was like, is this a spiritual remake of Julia's Eyes? Because Julia's Eyes is, oh gosh, when did that come out? I want to say Julia's Eyes was 2011. So I mean, there are younger things that have been remade. But so yeah, sister of kind of an extra sensitive blind woman, twin sister, obviously, is murdered, and the oh, hey, Scratch Rate Studios just drops a very generous super chat and says for meow food. Aw, that's good. Here's a meow. Say thank you. Thank you. Oh man, yeah. Six cats eat a lot, so that is very much appreciated, Scratch Rage Studios. um, these kittens are getting big. Sushi's getting a little belly on her. Oh yeah, you can like these now, huh? You can. I give it a heart. Boom, heart you. Thanks. What was I saying? Oddity in the okay, yeah. So the sighted sister is murdered in her and her husband's new home, and it does have very spooky, like you can maybe let me blow this up just a tiny bit. You can see this thing down here. That thing is a big part of the movie. But basically this woman, this extra sensitive twin sister of the murdered woman, uh, comes to town to to investigate and or avenge the murder. Uh, it's really interesting, and it goes in a way I didn't expect. I liked it a lot. Again, Shutter original, everything, man, a lot of stuff. What out come the wolves I rented. Dang. Like all but two of the movies I watched last week and decided to talk about are Shutter originals. Wow. What else is there? So I talked about VHS Beyond, Out Come the Wolves, Daddy's Head, Azrael, Demon Disorder, and Oddity. Now, it's not Halloween without watching a really low budget offering. So next, okay, Operation Blood Hunt. If you immediately, like before I even started watching it, after just reading the description of this movie, I immediately thought it's a mix of Strange Brigade, the game, and Blood Dog Soldiers, which I talk about a lot on this channel. I love Dog Soldiers, and I think a lot of the viewers do too, judging by comments every time I bring it up. Operation Blood Hunt is it's like everybody is a hero shooter kind of character. Like you've got who was the you've got Billy the Kid, the Reverend, Blackjack, who's the gambler, Rico, who's the tracker. It's all very, very campy. And if I were to give out 2024 horror movie awards, like if I did an awards show for 2024 horror movies, Operation Blood Hunt would be the definitely got the memo offering for horror. So it's not good. The acting is terrible. The story is out of its effing mind. But literally everything is practical effects. It is massively gory. Like, I mean, just people getting shredded. Somebody gets held up by a werewolf and both of their arms pulled off at the same time. Like this movie got the memo. This movie gets it. This movie knows what low budget horror is supposed to be, which is all practical effects and a total red slushy mess. Yeah, the story. Basically everything about this movie is terrible except for the gore effects. And maybe the night I watched it, maybe I was just really in the mood for something bad. Sometimes that happens, right? Especially with horror fans. I feel like we if we're not always in the mood for a bad horror movie, there are definitely times where That's what we need in our lives. And I'm not going to tell you to rent Operation Blood Hunt because it was $5. It was not worth $5. But this is the kind of movie that will end up on Tubi and probably spend its entire life on Tubi. So maybe write down the name if you're in the mood for some really nonsensical but really good violence. Operation Blood Hunt might be your guy. Ooh. If you're drinking and you want to, drop what you're drinking in the chat. I'm just having a Coke because I'm just really not in a drinking mood tonight, but I am in a social mood. That's why we're here. Okay, so that was all the movies I was going to talk about. I did start Teacup on Peacock. If you haven't heard of Teacup, Peacock is really funny because they are terrible at advertising their stuff. Even, well, not so much on their own platform, but I'd never heard of Teacup until my mom actually texted me about it. She was like, "Have you seen Teacup?" I was like, "What is Teacup?" She says, "It's on Peacock." I'm like, "I have Peacock. I have the app. Why does Peacock not advertise its stuff? Why does it not alert you when there's something new on Peacock?" So many things have been added to Peacock, or even Peacock originals like Teacup, and I've just not known until well after they've started or been released. Anyway, Teacup, it's based on I think it's actually a novel series. I think there is a series of novels by Ian McCulloch, and do yourself a favor, do not make the mistake I did, which is Googling the novel it's based on, because if you do that, the mystery of the first 4 or 5 episodes is immediately spoiled in the description of the novel. I think at the very beginning of episode 2, I clocked that it said it was based on a novel, and like an idiot, because I'm, curiosity spoiled the horror movie, I Googled it, and it was like, oh God, seriously? Oops. That's not to say that the twist is bad. It's just, it was super premature, and I spoiled it for myself. But Yvonne Strahovski is in it. Yvonne Strahovski is, wow, it's been a really long time since I watched Chuck. But she's the female lead in Chuck. She's also, she's done a couple horror movies before. He's Out There, I think, is Yvonne Strahovski. I think that's what it's called. He's Out There. It's like her and her kid being stalked by a dude in a country house. Anyway, Teacup is, it's, if I didn't know any better, if somebody had just told me this is based on a novel, I would have bet money that it was Stephen King. There is so much Stephen King vibe happening in Teacup. One of the things that I think the more robust novels and series by Stephen King, I'm not gonna say they go into too much world building and backstory and grandiose universes that all connect, but I will say that a lot of it is potentially and debatably unnecessary. My favorite kind of horror is cosmic horror, like Lovecraftian horror, because man, Lovecraft didn't care if you had any inkling of a reason for why something was happening. And the thing about doing that is, if something is scary enough, just the fact that it is happening is compelling enough. And Stephen King, It, for example, It is about a clown that feeds on the fear of children and then the children. It is scary. And then you get into the whole, it is actually an alien, and it's like a god, but it's an evil god, and there's another good god that's a big old space turtle or something that is its antithesis, and it was fleeing the giant space turtle. It's like, I think the clown that can morph into a spider and like make you float forever, feeding on your life essence, was scary enough without going into the detail. But anyway, so that's a little glimpse into how Teacup kind of goes. I think probably probably just could have been a movie. Although I am 2 episodes behind as of yesterday, I believe. It comes out on Thursdays. Uh, as far as like, for some reason, vibe check, the phrase vibe check has been coming up in my life a lot for the last like 2 days. I don't know why. I've heard it before, but it seems people are doing a lot of vibe checks right now. So like vibe check around Teacup is if you have seen it, it's like a mix of it and Storm of the Century, both by Stephen King. Like I said, if you told me this was based on a novel and to guess who wrote it, I would have said Stephen King. It's very Stephen King. Sith Lord Max says, love it. The original scared the hell out of me when I watched it when I was younger. Tim Curry with that hand. Yeah, Tim Curry was a great Pennywise for sure. That is, I talked a lot faster than I anticipated. Teacup though, recommended if you've got Peacock. I mean, why not watch it, right? Let me. So that is stuff that I watched in recent days, and last month for Halloween. So let me go on to the next thing. So one of the things that I do every Halloween, and when I say every Halloween, I mean every like actual Halloween night, is I watch Alien and Aliens back to back. And part of the side effects of doing that is that I get on an alien kick and I watch everything with a xenomorph in it, even the bad stuff like AVP. Man, AVP was bad. But I went a step further this time because last year there was a new game, Aliens Dark Descent, that came out. I did a video on it. I did like an hour, almost a 2 hour Let's Play of Aliens Dark Descent when it came out. I don't remember exactly when that was, but it was last year, 2023. And I was obsessed with this game. Like I played it every night. I have an app on my Steam Deck that lets me stream my PS5 to it. So every night for a couple weeks, I was lying in bed playing Aliens. I almost said Fireteam Elite. That's also a good game. Playing Aliens Dark Descent, streaming from my PS5 to my Steam Deck in bed. A, surprisingly long game, and B, surprisingly good on console with console controls. So I have, excuse me, the Coke. I have, what am I saying? Oh, XCOM 2. I have XCOM 2 on PS5, and I have XCOM 2 on PC. I cannot stand playing it on PS5 because those turn-based like strategy. Well, okay, so XCOM is turn-based. Aliens is real time. Although when you go into like command menus, you can have it set to either pause time or slow down time. I always have it pause time just because, like, I wasn't looking to be stressed. I was looking to have fun. If it wasn't clear, one of the things I did over the last week and a half, was play Aliens Dark Descent again as part of my I do everything with a xenomorph every year for Halloween kind of tradition. And I gotta say, this game, I remembered it being good. And what I was saying about the controls is it actually controls really well with a controller. It is compatible with keyboard and mouse on PS5. Like you can plug a keyboard and mouse into your PS5 to control it. And I almost did that when I decided to replay it, but I was like, no, the controller feels great with this game. This is just like the Let's Play I made, so you have some visual reference while I talk about it. I think like this is a lot of people would say, I believe a lot of people would say, Alien Isolation is the best Alien universe game. Like it is the most faithful. It's just the best Aliens game you can get. And I can see that, yes, it's definitely the most faithful. Like I've been playing it in VR on the channel. I've done 3 episodes of it, and it's like you're in the first movie. The atmosphere is spectacular. The environments are spectacular. Everything is so visceral and accurate, especially to a huge fan like me. But I gotta say, I've played a lot of games with xenomorphs in it, and Dark Descent is probably my favorite. I played a lot of Fireteam Elite. I still play Fireteam Elite. I'll still boot that up and just like play a mission for no reason. It's just it's a fun one. But this game has, while Alien Isolation has the perfect Alien 1978 or 79 19, oh boy, my horror credentials out the window. Alien 1979. While Alien Isolation is the perfect like vibe check, the like, what is it, translation to a game for Alien. I think Aliens Dark Descent is the perfect translation to from Aliens, the movie. 1983? No, not 1983. 1986. So yeah, like Alien Isolation is going to be the best translation to it. But for Aliens, this game, Fireteam Elite, it came out well before Dark Descent, obviously, but until Dark Descent, Fireteam Elite was the best. Oh, I forgot about that glitch. Guy's eyes are just floating there. I can't recommend Dark Descent enough. It's got to be on sale, cheaper. I don't remember how much I paid for it. It actually shockingly wasn't a full price game, even though it's long. It's really long, and it's very replayable, if you ask me. Let me see. Did I ever start getting into different classes? Like once I unlocked the sharpshooter class, game over, man, game over. Oh no, I only played the first mission. That was a bad Let's Play. I didn't show like some of the funnest stuff in it. Anyway, yeah, Dark Descent, great game. If you love Alien, like, so out of the entire series, Aliens is my favorite. I just think it's damn near the perfect movie. I love Aliens, but I mean, Alien is amazing, so I always watch them in succession. But yeah, Dark Descent. God, you could probably. I think. I wish I. Something happened to my PlayStation account, and actually, it got like the game got wiped from not like my progress got wiped for some reason. Not the trophies, but the progress. So I don't actually know how long I played it for. But I think it had to have been a 20-hour playthrough because it's not easy. It's a very challenging game. And then I, of course, from being an absolute scumbag, I save I you can't really save scum in Dark Descent. Well, that's annoying. What's annoying? What happened? Says Sith Lord Mac. Well, that's annoying. I'm a little ahead. There's a what do you call it? Delay. So I'm not sure what you're responding to that I said. Um Oh, the PlayStation wiping my progress. That's probably what you're saying. Yes, that was annoying. When I booted it up earlier, um I wanted to know how long I'd played it so I could talk about that, but yeah, I just didn't keep the didn't keep the metric for some reason. Um, so one of unfortunately, I don't have any footage of it apparently because I only did the first mission for the Let's Play and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But you can get different. It's just like any other strategy RTS or turn-based strategy game. You got to manage the health. You can get like your medic class has some decent abilities. I never really invested much in the medic. I was all about the smart gunners and the sharpshooters and I think it's called a lieutenant or officer, just something along those lines, because they give you more. When you have them in your squad, you get more command points. Can you see my? No, I have the cursor blocked. Well, command points are what happen when you pull the right trigger. A bunch of options come up depending on which of your soldiers you have in your unit and whether or not they are busy, incapacitated, or injured. Like you can get injuries to a leg, which means movement speed is halved. You can get injuries to an arm, which means reload speed and accuracy are halved. Honestly, this is a game where what I was saying about being a complete scumbag is while you can't save scum, you do get auto saves at various points, and you can use there's a little wrench icon. It says 3 of 4 up at the top. Those are your like I don't know, just like your generic tool tech kind of supplies, and you can weld doors using one of those. And if certain areas have this little green home icon, and you can weld all the doors that lead to that space and rest your Marines. Because if you look at the bottom, you see like E. Smith has a 78%, McDonald has an 81%. That's their stress level. And as the stress levels build up, the 3 notches below, they can get a trauma. And the traumas are super hard to shake. So it's good to de-stress. And when you de-stress your Marines by giving them a rest in one of those safe room places, it also saves the game. I hate losing people like soldiers in these games. I was a huge, not a save scummer in XCOM Enemy Unknown, but I would, if I lost a person, I would just say F it and restart the mission. Like I got super attached to my dudes in in that first kind of reboot of the XCOM series. And it was no different in Dark Descent. Like uh, I would go back long ways in missions because saving isn't free. You have to use um, tools to lock the doors, and not all the rooms are safe. So, and sometimes if you get a save in a bad place, you're screwed. See, look, I'm trying to weld that door, and I didn't have any tools for it, so I couldn't kind of barricade this room off as an onslaught was coming. But yeah, I would restart. God, probably like the longest I ever did was maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours of progress just to not lose one of my people. I was obsessed with it. Um, yeah, good game. It's a good game. So honestly, honestly, that's really all I had to talk about. I just wanted to kind of when when the I wanted to do this YouTube channel. I had the idea and the desire to do this YouTube channel all the way back in 2019. And I just didn't have the, I guess, confidence to do it. And then the pandemic hit. And one of the things that I was really into were the YouTubers that would do like community time, community happy hour, just like no set agenda, nothing really to do, just kind of like take a load off and be social. So that's what this is. I'm just drinking Coke tonight. Not really in the mood for booze. Um, you can drink whatever you want and however much of it you want. Um, yeah, that's all I really brought to the kind of happy hour table. I I watched a lot of movies last last month and the beginning of this month, and I played some Fire Team or Dark Descent um, as part of my memory lane, everything with a xenomorph in it kind of tradition for Halloween. Playthrough Pulse says very good social hour. Awesome. I appreciate it. Um, well, I mean, I'm not going to drag it out. If you want to drop in the comments what you did for Halloween, like do you have any specific movies you watch? I only talked about the things that were new for me. I I watched a lot of stuff that isn't new for me, like tradition is Hocus Pocus and um, the Blood Hunt. Huh? A disease I have. Script you gave me an idea when I misread the Blood Hunt. Oh, oh, did you like mix up the letters of Blood Hunt and I think it said something dirty. Operation Blood Hunt. What a movie, man. Uh, uh, but yeah, I watched a bunch of other stuff, so I just only really wanted to talk about the new things I watched because that's what's interesting. Everything else I watched during Halloween, everybody probably knows. Um, yeah, I guess thanks for joining. Quick question for those in the chat, and if you're watching this on video on demand, then obviously you're invested enough to drop a comment. But do we like just me, just quiet, um, or should I drop in like some thunder and rain sounds in the background? Just drop a comment. I have them. I have those sounds. I could also do fire crackling. I could do any of the above. I could even do like ocean waves or whales. Depends. But yeah, if you think we need a little bit more noise in the background, I think you can probably maybe hear the cat's water fountain just tinkle, tinkle, tinkling away. Either or both are good, says Sith Lord Mac. I watched my favorite, Nightmare Before Christmas, on Halloween night. Watch it every year on Halloween and Christmas. Wow, on Halloween and Christmas. Duck noises for me, says Playthrough Pulse. Cool. Like screaming foxes. Nice and relaxing. Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's funny that you say you watch it on Halloween and Christmas, because genuinely, I think everyone probably has a different opinion as to whether, well, not everyone, obviously it's a binary opinion, but whether it is a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie, because I think equally strong and reasonable arguments could be made for both, which is amusing. Leave it to Tim Burton. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm not gonna drag it out. I've got I've got no I'll come. I want to do this every Friday, as long as I have the mental and physical energy. Yeah, Sith Lord Max says, can't decide on which, so I do both. That's how you do it. Yeah, so long as I have the mental and physical energy every Friday at 5 p.m., I want to make this a regular thing. So thanks for coming, keeping me company. Encore. Sorry, Playthrough Pulse. I got nothing. I brought 7 movies and a TV show and a video game, and I somehow got through it. Maybe I just need to speak slower. Should I speak slower? I could speak slower, probably milk out like another 8 minutes or so. But recap of the happy hour is VHS Beyond was probably the best VHS movie since the first one. Out Come the Wolves is very good, especially if you have a crush on Missy Peregrine like I do. Daddy's Head. Oh, you know what? I probably should. Yeah, too late. Actually, maybe not. There. Come on, show it. Show it. There. Daddy's Head. Extremely creepy. If you have Shudder, highly recommend it. Azrael. Odd. Okay. But odd. And you can't multitask while watching it because nobody talks. Interesting. Demon Disorder, also Shudder. Basically, honestly, Shudder should sponsor me because I'm constantly talking about. Playthrough Pulse says Daddy's Head sounds like a different genre. I actually agree with you. I wasn't sure exactly what that movie was when I first saw the title. Scratch Rage Studios says, next time I'd like to send this movie idea to you and hear your idea on it. Okay. If you want, after the stream ends, put it in the comments. That way it's like it stays, and it doesn't go in the chat and disappear. But yeah, and then what else was I saying? Okay, Demon Disorder, also Shudder. Again, Shudder should sponsor me, I think. Oddity, guess what? Shudder. And Operation Blood Hunt, which I thought was, like I said, if I was giving out awards for 2024 horror movies, Operation Blood Hunt would got the memo on what low budget horror is supposed to be, which is extraordinarily and excessively practical effect gore. And then Teacup, which, if you've got Peacock, why wouldn't you watch Teacup? What are you paying for it for if you're not going to watch the stuff on it? So, thanks for joining. Everybody, stay safe and cultivate your community wherever you can. Whatever comes at one of us comes at all of us. So stick together. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to do Alien Isolation this weekend because, God, it takes so much energy, and I just don't have energy at the moment. Like, this is what I have energy for. I also have, I am hopefully by the end of this week publishing the next episode of the Fall Asleep to Resident Evil documents. This time I'm doing Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 Remake. So yeah, look forward to that. I think Scratch Rage Studios said they liked the Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0 document readings. So yeah, another one coming up hopefully by the end of this weekend. Sith Lord Max says, have a nice night. You too. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I guess that's the end of the happy hour. It's almost exactly an hour. I guess that works out. Here's to us, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.